We ready? All right, we'll go ahead and call the special call meeting to order. In attendance, for the record, Alderman Parsley, Alderman Messick, Mayor Hobbs, and myself.
Kelly.
And Kelly. First of all, we'll look for approval of the agenda.
So, if we can, I need to remove number 8.
Good.
Yep.
'Cause I was gonna fuss about that.
No, so take 8 off. That's okay with me.
I need an updated, because on mine, number 8's the adjournment. Here. There we go. All right. All right, so we're removing item number 8. Anything else needs to be adjusted? If not, do we have a motion to
I'll make
adjourn?
a motion.
Two.
So let it be unanimous. All right, number 3, approval of the minutes from the January 21st meeting. If you've had an opportunity to look over those.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
So unanimously approved. All right, comments from the public. Do we have anybody who would like to speak?
Is that us?
Yeah.
All right. All right, item number 5. MPD Ford Explorer purchase from EMA.
Can we just move to approve?
Yeah, I mean, it came out of
We've already talked
safety
about it, yeah.
with a positive recommendation to finance. And Donnie, what this is police department wants to buy 2 Ford Explorers from the EMA. They're 2022 models. I think they're $25,000 a piece. One will come out of the drug fund, and the other one would come out of their fund, and they have the money in their.
All right, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, motion passes unanimous. All right.
Move to approve.
I'll tell. So the next one is Manchester Firearms. They want to go and replace all the firearms that they have. They're gonna go from Glock 45s to 9mm. It's all the way through the department. The number is, to do all that is $47,478.30. Again, that they when we met with Anthony, you guys have it in your budget where they've done really good with their budgeted, so there's no monies needed. It would be part of their normal funds this year. And this will replace it for all officers, ammo, and then they're also gonna take confiscated guns and the ones that we have, and they'll get a credit on those going forward.
Okay. So the total, $47,478 for the move. All right. Gentlemen, do we have a motion?
Yeah.
And a second? All right. Any further discussion? All right. Mark?
Let's talk about the next in a little bit.
Vote
Okay.
vote to accept. Motion passes unanimous.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. All right, number 7. Codes lease.
I forgot to bring those comps, but I'm gonna tell you, everything else in Manchester's twice as high as what we're doing right here.
So what we're doing there is we're out of space. We want to move the codes department, the building, I can't remember the address. It's on the corner here. I think it's owned by Ken and Helen DeBellis. It's got 7 offices, a conference room, and it's $2,000 a month. Anthony and his group would come upstairs, finance would move to codes, and then we would give the police department the offices that finance comes out of to give them more space. It's cheaper than building, it's cheaper than remodeling, and even if we remodel, we won't have the space. We did a lease so that everybody can kind of understand how we would pay for it. So we bid out the lease on the 200 acres at the Manchester Industrial Park this year. It went out for bid in January. We were leasing that property for $100 an acre. We did a sealed bid, and when we opened it up here, Community Sod actually won the bid, and they're paying you $316 an acre, which is about $60,000 a year. It's a 5-year lease, so it's $200,000. So that's how we can justify, in my opinion, leasing something for $24,000 and you still have a positive gain without having to purchase anything. You know, as you build a long-term strategy on what we're going to end up doing and where we're going to end up being, you know, I just don't know. But for space right now, Codes hired a new water person. We hired 4 new officers this year. Anthony hired a new person. We're just space limited up here. I had Mark pull the comps for anything else we could lease with the same criteria of office space and boardrooms. And there again, it's a pretty good deal for $24,000 a year.
Yeah, there's 4 comps in Manchester. You can go tell home if you want to, but there's 4 comps in Manchester, and they averaged about $4,000 a month. So,
And how long a lease are we locked into?
We're gonna do a year.
A year?
We're gonna do it year to year until we figure out our strategy on what we wanna do. It'll renew, but we'll bring it back before everybody to make sure everybody's okay with what we're trying to do. So, that's what we're asking. The lease would start April 1st, and it would be for a year. And that's moving Brittany, Stan, Grace, Dana, the new girl in Stormwater down there. So that's what we're asking.
you got 1 more in there too, don't you?
Troy.
Troy, yeah.
Sorry about that, I forgot Troy.
Out there.
So of the 7 offices, we're gonna occupy 5 of them.
Move to approve.
I can't go along with it. I think we need to keep it here. People comes to City Hall to do City Hall business.
Yeah, and I mean, and look, we looked around at like Tullahoma and other areas, and theirs aren't at City Hall either. They're off campus as well. Being that it's a standalone type of a function, the meetings will still be here, but there again, it's space. So,
You know, I'm sorry, go ahead, Donnie.
I mean, you're the mayor, you can do it.
no, I can't. That's why I'm asking you guys, right? I mean, look, it would be great if I had a pen like the rest of them, but mine don't work that way. I have to ask everybody, and I mean, if you guys don't want to do it, I'm okay. I'm just kind of space tight, because if we added people to the city last year, we added 14 new positions. This is just one of them, right? I mean, as we'd put $50,000 in a remodeling fund, and we're kind of considering Anthony, we put it in Anthony's budget, and what we were thinking is the tax area is a big problem for us, the way that's redesigned, and you have that little window, and we're thinking about moving taxes down to the L part of water, so that when people come in, you got water and taxes all in that area, and that will relieve a little space, but it's more, these guys, they did a good job last year at the police department. They created 4 workstations for officers, but they're just overrun. And so there again, it's just of all the groups you have, that is the one that probably could afford to not be at City Hall based on other cities around us. So that's how we ended up here.
Yeah. So lack of second.
There's 3 people on the committee. I made a motion. Donnie said no. You ain't said anything.
Can I second the motion?
I don't see any reason why you can't.
Okay, I second the motion.
But I understand what Donnie's
I-
talking about,
I-
and
I
I
do
hope, I hope that sometime in the future, after I'm gone from here, we'll go out to where the schools are, and we'll sit down and we'll build the Manchester City facilities right there. You know,
Well, I mean, I think that you have to look at a long-term thing of building the police department over there.
police department,
Yeah.
George's,
Yeah.
street
Fire,
department,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, yeah,
yeah, but you're talking millions of dollars
and
that,
years away.
and years away, and there again, as we continue to grow, I mean, Brittany's talking about, you know, she may approach us for an engineer to do some engineering in-house. There's lots of room that we just don't have today, so that's the intent.
Well, and
Look, for 1 year, if you don't like it after that, we'll undo it.
we got officers stepping on each other in that one office.
Well, I mean, that's, you guys can probably answer that better than me, right? I mean,
Well, Thomas, you know, we showed you our off-site evidence room that's not even associated with the city itself. It's
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, there are spatial concerns in the police department, legitimate spatial concerns. So, I guess we need to call a vote.
That'd be the next thing.
All in favor?
I'm gonna say aye.
I'll say aye also. Alderman Parsley, you on record with the nay?
Yeah.
Okay. So vote passes 2-1.
thank you, guys.
All right, striking number 8. So number 9,
So number 9 is a request by Manchester Water and Sewer. And they passed it in the Water and Sewer Commission. I think we had give them 5 trucks they could personally buy this year in their budget. They're asking for 3, 2 Maverick trucks for meter readers, right? We're constantly fixing older trucks, putting either transmissions or motors in something that's not worth what we're fixing. And then Director Perry doesn't have a work truck, and he's been kind of driving his personal truck, which I told him is a big no-no, but he don't have one to go get in. So he's asked for a F-150 for him, and then 2 Mavericks, or 3 Mavericks, I'm sorry, for his team. So it's a total of 4. He had it in his budget, what we approved last year as an overall. He's not gonna purchase his bigger trucks. You know, I think there was like a, can't remember.
Four-wheel drive, F-250, four-wheel drive, and then there was a winch truck.
Yeah, and he's gonna wait and see how he kinda ends, and he may come back before the end of the year, but he wants to make sure he's got all his ducks in a row with his budget, and he hasn't gone over. But
So how many meter readers do you have?
I think we have 2 meter readers, and then one of these is a water,
Locator?
water locator, yeah. And these little Mavericks, I mean, you're buying them for about 30 grand a piece. They're 4-door, they're actually, you know, we just really have a bad problem here in the city with the old fleets, just in general, so.
so this is 100% covered.
In
By-
his
by the-
budget,
by the
yeah, we're
approved
not
budget.
asking the general fund, which you can't in water and sewer, and he shouldn't go over. And if Anthony was here, he could talk a little more about it, because we've been meeting with each department to see how they are 6 months in. And he was okay, and Anthony felt confident that he would be okay as well.
It's gonna be a long time before they ever have too much money with all the work that's getting done.
Yeah, too much is, but, yeah, I agree, so. But that's his ask, that's what that one is.
So the total's roughly 150,
Yeah, yeah.
roughly 150.
Yeah, right at $150,000 for 4 new vehicles.
You're gonna buy them from state, right?
We'll buy them from Murfreesboro through the state contract. We tried to do some business with Al White locally. They're not a vendor on the state contract. But what we're gonna do to help try to do some of this locally is we'll put them out for bid, and we'll go through that process. They can meet the state contract numbers, but because they're not an approved vendor, we have to go through the bid process, and we just didn't have time this time to do it. But going forward, we are going to do that process so we can shop local.
All right. So, do we have a motion?
I'm waiting on you.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's in their
It's in their
budget.
budget,
It's
yeah.
in there, I mean, it's no extra funds, it's all covered in the numbers this year.
Yeah. All right. Actual vote? Aye. So it passes unanimous. All right, item number 10, Finance Department updates.
Oh, didn't have any.
So, we've met with all departments, we've made our rounds, we've updated the 6-month budgets. Some are gonna need some budget amendments, some aren't. Anthony's in the process now of meeting with them individual to start building the budget for next year. What their ask is gonna be, we put out a budget schedule, and we are on pace for that. Anthony's working the buy side, and I'm working the income side. And then he and I will sit down, and we should be on pace to present a budget to you guys, I think, to vote first of April, I think is what our plan is, so that we're ahead of the game this year. If we pass it in April, great, but it gives us a little buffer to get to the end of
Almost need to pass it, because it's gotta be voted on twice.
Yeah, so our goal, our schedule is April and May,
Yeah.
but we have June to finish hashing out some other problems. As a committee, probably the next meeting, there's some things that I think we probably need to hash out in here about donational items, so that we can clean that up before we get the budget built, right? Those are the things that, I think, besides department needs, we'll be able to justify those and ask for them. But the donational side of the budget is where usually the issues are. So I think it'd be good to work with you guys on that so that it doesn't get hung up when we go to present the whole budget.
All right. Anything else?
Last year was an easy budget. Almost everybody that asked for whatever they asked for got it.
Under the gun last year, right?
And I'm just gonna say, this year ain't gonna be that easy.
No, and this year we've asked everybody to kind of be flat, to be honest with you, because, with new finance department, we're still, and Kelly can probably talk as much as I can about this. It's a new challenge every day. We find new things, almost that just weren't presented. We just didn't know, right? We're all new at this, from my seat to Anthony's to Kelly's. We've been reviewing contracts, leases, sponsorships, all the dollars in. And I worry Kelly on a regular basis because I don't think we're capturing them all correctly to the right funds and departments. And so we're trying to get all that straightened out so that we can tell you guys, this is what we project to bring in so that you know what you want to spend. So there's been quite a bit of work here.
Kelly's saving paper. If you say anything else, she's gonna have to use another sheet of paper.
I'm done.
Right in the margins.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I think to echo Mark's point, I think we'll be open to anything that makes sense, but it's gotta make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, and the other part of it too, right, our goal is to pass a balanced budget, right? Let's just be honest. That's our goal. Last year, we passed one that had a deficit of about 1.8. We won't never see all of that because as a board, we didn't get together until late in the process. There was a lot of hires that didn't take place, and so a lot of that money that we had obligated never was spent for 6 months. So worst case scenario, I think we're probably gonna come in probably around 750 to 800 as a deficit versus the 1.8 that we had projected. Incomes are running a little higher in different areas, which is good. We just, last year, it was Anthony's first year. When we put it all together, it was rushed. We were very conservative on the income, even though we said we would spend quite a bit more. And it's truly, it's a better year than it was.
All right.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Aye.
Adjournment is unanimous. All right, thank you all for coming, gentlemen, thank